Donald Trump's lawyers argued this week in court that Donald Trump, in his lawsuit against some of the biggest tech companies in the country, Twitter, Facebook, and Google, specifically, though, the one against Twitter, you can't make him do that in California because he was president of the United States and he filed the lawsuit in Florida. So you gotta keep it down here in Florida, where all these right-wing judges are. Now, here's the issue. Twitter has what's called, let me find the name of it here, a forum selection agreement that you actually agree to when you agree to Twitter's terms of service. Meaning, if you ever have any kind of problem with them where you need to sue, they have the ability to choose the forum. You've agreed to that. If you're on Twitter, if you have an account, you've agreed to that. So Trump, who did have a Twitter account, agreed to that. And as such, Twitter says, okay, cool, we're in California. You got to file the lawsuit in California, not in Florida. It's easy enough, right? That shouldn't even be a problem. I don't understand why the administration or former administration is fighting this. But his lawyers said, nope, can't do this because he was president of the United States. And Twitter's just kind of like, okay, so he's not now. And most importantly, he wasn't when he signed the terms of agreement. He was just a regular dude, just like the rest of us, except with, possibly more money. Legal experts were very quick to tear apart these idiotic legal arguments from Trump's lawyers. Brad Heath from Reuters did a phenomenal job here. Trump's lawyers told a federal court tonight that Twitter's forum selection agreement, which requires that he sue the company in California, does not apply to him, quote, as the 45th president of the United States. Trump's argument seems to be that his Twitter account was actually operated on behalf of the government inasmuch as he made announcements about policy. But if the court accepts the argument that Trump's Twitter account became a thing operated by and for the U.S. government, that would seem to open up the big question of why Trump, now a private citizen, would even have the standing to sue over it. So their own legal argument contradicts itself, because Trump is no longer the 45th president of the United States. But if they're saying that he should get the account back because he was using it for official presidential proclamations, he's not doing that anymore because he's not the president. They go on and on and on. There's so much more, but I don't even care about it. Here's the thing to me. Could you imagine being so desperate to get back on Twitter that you actually sue them over it? Like, how much of a megaphone was this outlet for Donald Trump that he is so desperate to get it back? And we all know the answer to that. It was exceptionally powerful. And he is desperate to get that Twitter account back. But thanks to Republicans arguing in court over the last few decades, private businesses can exclude anybody they want. As I always like to point out, y'all did this. Okay, this was you. You went to court, you argued on behalf of these people, you fought for these corporate rights to exclude anybody. Now it's coming back to bite you in the butt. And even in these particular instances, this isn't censorship. You violated the terms of service, which you agreed to as a private citizen, not as president of the United States. There is nothing you can do. These lawsuits filed by Donald Trump have, I'd say, about a 5% chance of being successful, and that's being very generous. I might actually give it a little bit higher chance of success if his lawyers weren't so incredibly stupid. When you have these armchair legal experts, not referring to Brad Heath, but some of the other ones mentioned in this article I'm talking about here, who are able to pick apart your arguments in just a few tweets, that's not exactly the brightest legal minds in the country we're talking about here, which to me just begs the question again, how does somebody with Donald Trump's money and Donald Trump's connections, and yes, let's be honest, Donald Trump's power, how does he continually hire the worst lawyers in the country? How do you even do that? That is a special skill. When you have that much money and power to consistently pick lawyers who have horrible arguments, man, that is a skill that Donald Trump does not get enough credit for.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, share, and most importantly, subscribe to our channel for fresh content 7 days a week.